Hey, hey guys, how are you? I am coming to you live. This is a live broadcast. I'm coming to you live from Ballina. Um, and I want to go live. I want to take this opportunity also to share with you how amazing um, my life is at the moment, but I also want to share the message of recovery. One of the things I've been very lucky to have encountered this past 11 years is I found recovery. And I want to acknowledge, first of all, before I get started, that I am part of this amazing community of men and women who also share the exact same experience as me. I want to acknowledge the amazing, probably hundreds of friends that I have, connections, peers, acquaintances, people in recovery doing exactly the same thing as me. So, guys, if you're out there watching, I see there's a few people watching live right now. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Who knows what I'm doing? I'm just on here. I love, and I've become aware over the past couple of years, I love this opportunity to share the message of recovery. So if you're watching, do me a big favor, right? Let me know. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know if yeah. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're watching live, and I just want to say thank you to you once again. First of all, now today I am coming to you Riverside, and I want to share this beautiful location. The weather has been pretty poor here in Ballina, but I've got to admit I'm absolutely loving it. I feel most spiritually connected right now outdoors at this beautiful scene. Hey Jimmy, thanks for dropping in, mate. I can put your com. Jimmy, good man. I appreciate anyone who's going to interact because today I want to share a little bit about my journey of recovery, and I just want people to know and to have the opportunity to feel free to ask me any questions. I'm a man in recovery. I've been clean and sober for over a decade now, okay, which is I've put together a few days, and I just love sharing my experiences. So hey Stanley, thanks for joining me, watching from Papua New Guinea. That is so awesome, brother. Guys, so this is an opportunity, a questions and answers. I would love to hear from anyone out there who would like to share their experience. Maybe if you're really keen, I could get you on the broadcast, just putting that out there as well. But, you know, one of the things, Stanley from Papua New Guinea, thanks so much for joining us. One of the things that absolutely spins me out, okay, and this is actually very closely aligned to what I do today, is they said to me in the early days, okay, in the early days of recovery, when I was completely mad, I'm not suggesting that I'm not completely mad anymore, but they said to me, Danny, you don't have to change much. You just have to change everything. And they also said, if you wrote a list of all the things that you would want in 5 years' time, that you'd be selling yourself short. Well, when I heard that, a couple of things were going on for me. First of all, I thought, I want I used to actually think in my early days that if I could have enough drugs to just get stoned for the rest of my life and not have to worry about all the carnage, all the hurt, all the pain, all the imprisonment, all the detoxes, all the hospital admissions, all the overdoses, if I could just have that, everything would be perfect, you know? Hey, Bernard, thanks for joining us. Where are you watching from, brother? Mate, yeah, so I thought it was about that stuff. I thought it was about material things. I thought Anyway, the fact is, right, years later, down the track, 5 years, let's just say, for example, I'd come to a place where all of that stuff that I'd wished I had had in the early days. Hey, Kenneth, sorry, brother, it's so good to have you join us. I think you come to us from Texas, is that right, mate? Yeah, it wasn't about those material things that I wished I had had when I first entered recovery. I used to think I wish I had a family. I've got a family today, but I used to think I wish I had a big house, I had a nice car, I wish I had plenty of money. And I wish I didn't want to use. And look, 5 years down the track, I had all of that stuff, but I had this internal feel goods that's really hard to explain. You know what, guys? I'm getting a bit lost here. I could go on and on about recovery. One of the things I put in the copywriting for this post was that the hard way was the easy way. You know, I tried for 17 years different ways to get clean and sober. I tried religion. I tried naltrexone. I tried hypnosis. I tried all these different sorts of things, right? And ultimately, I discovered on the 15th of September 2009 that there was no loopholes. There was no shortcuts. I had to face this front on. And the biggest decision I had to make, and the one that I'd heard over and over and over again, is that the first drug does the damage. For example, you know, if I don't pick up, I can't get stoned and I can't fuck my life up once again. Now, making that decision, coming to the crossroads for that decision, took a lot of courage and a lot of bravery. Bernard, thank you, mate. Yeah, Kenny is a legend. Kenny, you certainly are, mate. So look, as I was saying, when I came to that crossroads, and for the first time in my life, I made a different decision, not to get stoned and not to pick up and suck it in and go and speak to somebody about how I was feeling. My life basically changed, you know, and this is a far feat to quite comprehend this, right? But I actually, the day I made that decision, and I was about 60 days clean, Kenny, mate, thanks for asking. Where am I? Kenny, I'm in Ballina. This is like up the coast of New South Wales, which is where I live from Sydney. We're getting flooded under here, Kenny, in Australia. So right now, I am kicking it. I'm on kind of a holiday break, mate. I'm kicking it up in a beautiful hotel. I don't care but actually it's looking clearer out there today, but it has been torrential rain. But Kenny, I'm doing what they call a bit of self-care. You know, I'm looking after myself, taking a bit of a break. I've got to admit, you know, I've got this beautiful 3.5-year-old daughter, Amalia, and everyone. It's not as if everyone doesn't already know about her, but I thinking I feel a little bit guilty not to have her here with me, but I'm just taking a bit of self-care to look after myself. So, Kenny, yes, that's where I'm coming from. How is Texas going, brother? Let me know. And I'm just here today sharing a bit of my experience and hope with people. And I want people to know that if there's anyone out there who has a loved one affected by addiction, or if it's yourself, and when I say addiction, I'm talking about any substance. You know, when we put a drink or a drug into our body, we do that. I did that, trying to change the way I feel because I never felt comfortable within myself. Let me share something with you guys, right? My first couple of years of recovery, I was incredibly uncomfortable. Like, to think that I'm on here sharing this message with you guys right now would have been a crazy thing to think of, going back 11 and a half years ago. You know, I thought I hated people. I thought I didn't like people. And I learned over time that I was just this incredibly uncomfortable, low self-esteem, scared human being. And Paul, how are you? Paul, thank you so much, brother. It's a pleasure to have you, my brother. You inspire me too, mate. So thank you so much for your kind words. How's my Golf R looking? I heard you snuck a sneak peek in yesterday. Guys, what was I saying? Excuse me, I'm getting a little bit off track. I'm loving the interaction, but guys, please keep them coming. I'm here to answer your questions, right, mate? So I thought I hated people, but what I learned over time that I was just incredibly scared. I was so scared of that uncomfortable feeling. Let me give you an example. You go up to someone, right? You go, "Hey, mate, how you going?" They go, "Good. How are you?" And then one of you drops a comment like, "Oh, it's a beautiful day, isn't it?" And then that awkward, uncomfortable silence that follows, that was the feeling. And it almost gives me goosebumps when I think about it. But that was the feeling that I avoided throughout my whole addiction, trying to fill that gap, you know, that uncomfortable feeling of not knowing my place in the world, And even though personally, I come from a beautiful family. I have this loving, beautiful mum who has always been there to support me. And I had a father who, good old Chonky, he was a legend too. I wouldn't say the best role model, but he was always been there for me. In the background. So, um, but even so, and I also had a pretty cool childhood. I was quite a popular kid. I used to skate, and because I used to skate, I had a lot of friends, But the minute I picked up drugs at the age of 14, and in between the age of 14 and 16, my life unraveled and it slowly deteriorated to the point that I had no friends left. I picked up heroin at the age of 16, and basically by then, I'd something had changed in me. I became this animal. I was possessed by the obsession and compulsion to get more drugs. To change the way I feel. We've got quite a few people joining us. Thank you to everyone who's joining us. One of the things that I love, ostracized. You're right, Paul. The feeling of being a stranger in a strange land. That was me. But the thing is, like when we're in that and you're full of fear, you'd have no idea about how you're being ostracized, and it's difficult. So look, yeah. So to think that I'm here today, and let me share this with you. Okay, the biggest thing I'm most passionate about today is sharing the message of recovery. Okay, I've got hundreds of people I know who are on the exact same journey, killing it. Um, Same journey as me, doing exactly the same thing as me. I guess maybe one little difference is I do take this opportunity to share the message of recovery, and I guess there's no shame. And this is about us lowering the stigma about addiction and people struggling with mental health, because there is a bit of a stereotype or a what was that word I just used? The stigma, where people are afraid to share it. But I think it's such a human trait. And I want to also acknowledge that I'm part of this wonderful fellowship of men and women who share the same common cause as me, and that's just to be a better person one day at a time. I put one foot in front of the other and I continue moving forward. And I've also got this set of instructions on how to live. Um, and I think a lot of people are missing that stuff, Guys, thanks so much. Look, so here I am. I've got an amazing business meeting coming up in about, I don't know what time it is because I'm live, in about an hour, an hour and 10 minutes. It's funny, 2 years ago when I began this journey, right? I became an entrepreneur, just doing my best. I came up with an invention. I've been labeled an inventor, an entrepreneur, and a founder. Anyway, when I started doing that, I had no idea the journey I was about to embark upon. I had no idea that people out there in the community, people who aren't in my direct community of recovery, people want to know about recovery. So I'm here just to share a bit of that stuff. But guys, my point is that I never seen this coming. I don't know why I'm here today sharing this with, except I did want to share the beautiful location. I also wanted you guys to know that, and this is, like I said, for anyone out there who might be struggling, or if you have a loved one struggling, that recovery is absolutely possible. Not only recovery is possible, but a massive level of happiness. Like, I have the perfect life. I love my life. Um, I'm happy. All the things that I used to wish I had, I have, plus 100 times more. Kenny, I'm just going to put your comment up on screen. You make me hungry every time I hear from you. Kenny uses this beautiful language around scrumptiously, deliciously edible, tasty delight of a gentleman, a human being, and a friend of mine, and to millions who share goodness with others for the betterment of mankind. Savor the flavour, brother. Mate, Kenny, you've been an amazing support for me along my journey, and I'm so grateful to have you in my court, on my side. You and I have caught up via Zoom during the middle of the epidemic from the other side of the world. And guys, this is some of the stuff why I say I've got the most amazing life. I am connected with the most amazing people, mentors, coaches from all over the globe. And you think, like, if you're going to embark upon a journey similar to this, that you think, or you might think that it costs money, or I can't do this. But the biggest thing I've learned over this past 11 years, 6 months, and 6 days is that when we ask questions, right? When we ask people for help, people want to help. See, it makes people feel good to be able to share their experience with others. So, guys, one of the biggest things I can share with you today, maybe, is ask for help. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Bernard, and thanks, thanks for your comments, guys. Yeah. So, like I was saying, what about this morning? Last night I went to a meeting, and I met like a heap of new people. This morning I went and had coffee with one of those men. Wade, if you're watching, you're a legend, brother. I enjoyed catching up and talking life with you, and it's one of the lucky things that I'm a part of. And again, as I was saying, if you like, there's so many amazing opportunities out there when we ask. We just need to ask. So, yeah, guys, I don't know if there's anything else I'd like to share with you today. What about this, Rod? I'm here in Ballina, and if anybody doesn't know, that's up the top end of New South Wales. I think it's very close to the border of Queensland, maybe, and we and it's close to Byron Bay, beautiful Byron Bay. So I'm up here for a week. I'm going to catch up with my brother Lucas in Lismore, which is a little bit back down the coast. Lucas, you out there? Jane. Hey, Jane, it's amazing what happens when you actually ask. Absolutely, Jane. Jane, it's so good to have you join us. Jane's my friend from Perth. Like the pandemic, and it was even before the pandemic, but my world completely opened up when I took a risk and I started sharing the message of recovery. Beautiful people like yourself, Jane, Bernard, Kenny, Jimmy, Paul. You people have opened up my eyes to the world, and I think, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I think it's so important that we acknowledge this stuff, and I want you to know, right? And if anyone's afraid to drop their comments live on the platform, please feel free to direct message me. I always respond, and in fact, I have people basically contacting me from all over the world on a regular basis, almost daily, inquiring about a loved one, their son, their mother, their sister, their brother, or themselves, and this isn't, I'm not looking for a paid service. This is just me giving service back to humanity and mankind. Yeah, thanks, Shane. Danny, Shannon, ask, you shall receive, baby. That's right, Kenny. All we need to do is ask. Maybe that's the theme today. I'm asking for help. And I know I touched on this before, but people love to share their experience. Why are people, let me ask you guys this, why are people so afraid to ask for help? Me personally, and I guess I can only talk personally, but I can also share my experience over the 11 years, that when we ask for help, people want to help. They want to share their knowledge, so yeah, absolutely. Guys, we've been going for 20 minutes. Can I finish with one more thing, right? There's a bit of a hack behind all this stuff that I do, and I want to share it with you, okay? And I want to inspire others to do the same, or possibly think about doing the same, right? I have been creating content, sharing my message. I heard in the early days, Danny, find something that you are passionate about and share it with the world, okay? So that's what I've done, and I didn't actually find something. I fell into recovery, thank God. But I've been sharing my message of recovery via LinkedIn, via Facebook, via Instagram, via YouTube, all right? And the most amazing thing, and this is the little hack, right, is that people hear us and they want to know more, so they invite you on an interview. Okay, so then some awesome person, let's say Amy Waterman, gets me on for a live interview where she records this interview and then she posts it to her stuff. So then my message is getting spread out to further communities. Okay, and then somebody sees that video or that podcast and then they want to do an interview for the radio. And then the radio gets onto this and this, and next thing you know, you become maybe, like, I'm not an expert in any means. All I am, and I said this in my post, I'm just a man in recovery doing my best, okay? I am quite passionate about what I do. But when I share my passion and I share my experience with the others, with the world, people think you become a bit of an expert. You know, I'm an expert of nothing. But one thing I am an expert is I'm pretty sure I'm going to get through today, no matter what, without the need or the use of a mind or mood altering substance. Yeah, Jane, you that's exactly what it is, you know. Jane's just mentioned, I think in relation to in reply to why people are afraid to ask, it's because we're afraid of the answer, and no, and feel embarrassed to ask and help, I guess. So my response to that would be, of course, I think that is the human nature. That's the trait, and I feel that all the time. But then there's this movie. Is it called 20 Seconds or something? Nah, 1 minute. Anyway, there's this line that I heard in this movie, and I swear to God, I've hung on to. Oh, my family bought a zoo. That's what the movie's called. There's a line in that where I can't repeat exactly what it says, but like if you're going to spend the next 20 seconds embarrassing yourself, asking a question of somebody, and then know that the outcome of that question could completely change the trajectory of your life, seize the moment and ask, you know, also that same 20 seconds will be gone after the embarrassment or after the rejection, and it'll be gone as well. So if we can seize that opportunity to completely change the trajectory of our life, I say often on a daily basis, you know, be brave, have courage, and ask for help. Yeah, so but you're right, Jane. It's exactly what it is. All right, guys. If there's no one else who has any more questions, would anyone like to join me live on the platform? I think I've got a way I can add you live to the broadcast. So I'm just going to chill here for a second. It's nice to have you here too, Jane. You know, I'm coming to you live from StreamYard. StreamYard's a platform that you can access for free. And I'm also very blessed to be on the LinkedIn platform, streaming live from LinkedIn as well. And I say I'm extremely grateful for that because you actually don't have instant access to LinkedIn Live. Like, you have to apply for it. And I guess I got lucky that they seen that my content might be suitable or fit for streaming live. So again, how awesome is that, guys? I think I'm going to leave it there. What's my message to end this broadcast on? I don't know what river that is behind me, but it's a beautiful river. Actually, it's just a river. Like, it's not that beautiful. It looks a bit murky. The clouds are out. All right, I've got it. I line 3 things very closely, all right? Spiritual connection. And when I'm talking about a spiritual connection, I'm not talking about religion of God of any kind, right? I'm talking about my spirit being awake, alive, and connected to something bigger than me, you know? I line spiritual connection, I line serenity. I think serenity is very similar to a spiritual connection, but serenity is just that nice glow that I'm feeling when I'm in my own company, which is exactly what I'm doing up here alone in Ballina, alone, but I'm by myself. So spiritual connection, serenity, and what do you reckon the last one is? Anyone got any? There's one more that's really closely aligned. Hey, Kylie, it's a pleasure to have you. So spirit, my 3 things that I align very closely, and these are the ingredients to a happy life. it's just reminding I've got something else I want to share. Spiritual connection, serenity, and gratitude. Do you know that when we express our gratitude towards another human being, when we acknowledge the beautiful and wonderful things that they have done for us, it increases our levels of happiness by up to like 19%. You thought I just pulled that number out of a hat, but I didn't. It's actually a study that I've read up upon. And I just want to finish with this, right? Thank you, everyone, for joining me today also. And I just want to finish with this, right? Kindness. Let's wrap it up with kindness. Like, I think there is no greater gift. That's debatable, but there's no greater gift that a man can give to another than to share their kindness. You know, I think I've been incredibly blessed. I've had an incredibly blessed life. I've had an incredibly blessed journey of recovery, and I'm incredibly blessed to be sitting here today. But I've also had some shit. You know, I spent 17 years on the street, using, abusing, homelessness, mental health, prisons, jails, institutions. So it's all about perspective. You know, I think today I'm a glass half full kind of guy, but when we share our kindness with others, it's a bit of a loophole, yeah, because when we share our kindness and we give to others, we receive. You know, I'm a big believer in karma. So, guys, that's how I'm going to leave it. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining me today. It's awesome to have you guys here. Kylie, I hope you enjoyed your time up here in Ballina or Byron. I know you were close by. I'm on my way back. I'm up here for a few more days and I'm loving it, weather and all. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. I wish you an amazing life. I wish you happiness. One of the questions I love to ask is, are you happy? You know, so I hope you're all happy. Kenny's just dropped a big message. Kenny, you're a Kenny. What a great way to wrap it up. Like I said, Kenny, you always make me hungry. And again, Jane, thank you. I wish you a wonderful day too. I wish you all happiness, joy, kindness, and I just wish that we get the most out of life, I guess. Happy days.